Okay. I haven't uploaded a video in quite some time, and usually it's just stuff I go out and take, events and things like that. But there has been so much Trayvon Martin stuff put out there that I decided to share my opinion of this whole Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman um, problem, and some of the problems it's causing among the general population. Uh, One, um, we don't know everything that happened that particular night. I mean, there were witnesses. There's 911 calls. There's news media that has put out edited or enhanced audio, enhanced video, things of that nature. Um, One of the things that I do believe that both uh, Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman legally had a right, both of them, to be where they were at. Now, I know George Zimmerman, I know a lot of you probably heard the 911 calls, and uh, the, he talked about, Trayvon being suspicious, and the dispatcher asking him, to describe him, what he was wearing, his race or ethnicity, which the dispatcher asked white, black, or Hispanic. I think was the order that they went in. And he said that he thought he was black, which turns out, I mean, that was true. George Zimmerman, obviously Hispanic or Latino, something mixed, race. Um, and obviously armed as a neighborhood watch. And that part I really don't have I really don't have a problem with, being armed on a neighborhood watch. Obviously, you're still not a police officer. You don't have the rights of a police officer. Um, but you know, uh, and when he's talking to the dispatcher, he's following uh, Trayvon, and from everything that I've seen, it was to, get this address so that the police could come. And from what I understand, the police responded fairly quickly, um, but was to get a better address of where they were at, and then and the dispatcher specifically said, "We do not need you to do that." What does that mean? Is that the is that a lawful order that George Zimmerman has to follow? Not that he needs to automatically turn around and not follow Trayvon, or try to get a better address. Me personally, I don't think it is. I don't think that that him actually following him, what I would presume was from a reasonable distance, uh, it's not illegal. And then again, what Trayvon was doing was not illegal. He's going to the store. He's heading back to his dad's place, from what we understand, and then there was some sort of altercation, and obviously Trayvon wound up, being killed in that altercation. Since I mean, he wasn't armed, he was not armed, but that does not mean that he didn't have the ability to inflict grave bodily harm on George Zimmerman, or death. And those are really the only the two situations where you have the right to use deadly force, is if you're in fear of death or grave bodily harm. Grave bodily harm also is considered what might be called a crippling injury. And just for you women out there that may have a concealed carry permit or whatever, rape is also considered grave bodily harm. So you have the right to protect yourself with deadly force in those situations. In fear of death, grave bodily harm. It's pretty much standard across the board. And I'm not a lawyer, so just take it at that. You need to research the laws in your own state. The laws do vary. Florida happens to have a stand your ground. If you are legally in an area, if you do not have the duty to retreat, if you are faced with death or grave bodily harm. In the state of Ohio, we don't have a stand your ground. We have castle doctrine. We don't have a duty to retreat in the state of Ohio from our homes or from our personal vehicles or the vehicle of a immediate family member. So in those three circumstances, we don't have a duty to retreat according to the castle doctrine. But in Florida, they have stand your ground, which means you don't have a duty to retreat as long as you're there legally. Guess what? They were both there legally. There was bad decisions made. Should George Zimmerman follow the guy? No. He should have done what Block Watch is supposed to do. Block Watch is supposed to call the cops, report, observe, report, observe, report. But I will have to say, and I'm not saying Trayvon did this, but I have been in situations myself where I like to go out and take photographs, things of that nature, where people will walk, right up to my car, and so I don't have a problem with. That's why one of the reasons why I don't have a problem with George Zimmerman as a Block Watch captain being armed. He could have stayed in his car, and somebody could have approached him. I've had that happen to me, several times where, people are like, what the heck are you doing? And I'm legally, parked. I'm legally parked. I'm legally taking a photo. And somebody walks up and is like, hey, I don't want you taking a picture of that. I don't want you taking a picture of that. Well, guess what? I'm allowed to. But they approach my vehicle anyways, which I don't think is always the smartest thing to do. If you see somebody suspicious, call the cops, And if you can safely observe them, do that too. So that you can help the cops catch them. I don't know. I just think it's all kind of blown out of proportion. I don't think Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson helps matters any. Going down there and appreciate Trayvon Martin's family for wanting things to be done peacefully. I have to give them credit for that. And obviously now today, there isn't going to be a grand jury convened, but that doesn't mean that there won't be charges filed. And in my humble opinion, I kind of think that there will be, probably some civil rights charges. But on the flip side, with all this media attention and all this other kind of stuff, how is this man going to get a fair trial? Everybody's saying, oh, I want it to go to trial, I want it to go to trial so we can judge the evidence. And really, it's already been, not everything, but a lot of things have been put out there. How is this man going to get a fair trial? And everybody knows that you don't have to have a trial to examine the evidence to find out whether or not somebody is going to be charged with something. I mean, the prosecutor can look at the evidence and be like, you know what, I just don't have enough evidence to even go forward with this case. I cannot, fulfill my burden of proof that say that he's guilty. And plus, there's some other things with, as far as self-defense, you having to prove that you indeed were in fear for your life, or grave bodily harm. Got to keep that in there. Keep that in mind. And if you are, then you have the right to defend yourself with lethal force. And now, in most states, just throwing this out there, in most states, you do not have the right to protect your property with lethal force. So just keep that in mind. It's deadly. It's in fear of grave bodily harm or death. I just wanted to weigh in on this whole Trayvon Martin thing. I mean, there's lots of things going on. Hopefully, they'll be able to get this, sorted out, and the truth will actually come out. And I hope that everybody, can accept that. Personally, what I think George Zimmerman should have done was stayed in his car and said, hey, guess what? I see this guy. He seems suspicious. Can you guys come check it out? I'll just keep an eye on him from my car. And the dispatcher probably been like, yeah, we're sending somebody out. We'll check it out. I've even called suspicious persons in before, and the police show up, and they ask what they look like, stuff like that. But that's not what happened. He didn't stay in his car, and unfortunately now, Trayvon Martin, 17 years old, could have had a lot of things going for him. Now we'll never know. I'm trying to take a middle road on this, but I will have to say the whole new Black Panther Party thing with the bounty and all other kind of stuff, I do believe that's above and beyond what they should be doing, and that's not helping matters. So, if we can all try and keep calm, hopefully there'll be some more things brought to light as time goes on, and we can also, think about some of the other things that are going on in our communities, crimes against each other, and we can try and resolve those. One of the ways that I think that we can resolve these kinds of things is we need to maintain a dialogue with each other, and try not to get upset. Trayvon Martin's family, I understand them getting upset, but if I'm talking with somebody else, we all need to keep some open lines of communication, not calling each other names, things of that nature. And because the only way we're going to be able to solve and make it a better society for all of us, if we can keep open lines of communication among all of us. So hopefully, I don't know. I'm just sharing what I'm feeling, and I'm running out of time. So appreciate anybody who listens to this. Appreciate you listening. Maybe I'll chime in some more on this as some other things present themselves. So you guys take care. Be safe out there, and let's all just be smart. Keep cool heads. So talk to y'all later.